All right, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the bandhas and what they are and how we use the bandhas in yoga. All right, so let's talk about what the four main bandhas are and what a bandha is. So, first of all, bandhas are energy locks in the body. And the word bandha means bind in Sanskrit, okay? There are four main bandhas in the body. So you've got the Mula bandha at the base of the spine. You've got the Uddiyana bandha near the diaphragm or the solar plexus, that bundle of nerves in the abdomen. And the Jalandhara, the throat bandha, near the throat chakra. And all of these engaged at one time is called the Mahabandha. So there are three separate bandhas, and then when they're all together engaged, you have one big bandha. So let's talk about the Mula bandha first. So the Mula bandha is at the base of the spine. It's called the root lock also, and it's located near the root chakra. It's near the perineum. If you draw the muscles of that area up and tighten them, you're going to feel Mula bandha engage. It's sort of like a Kegel exercise. For males, it can be felt by tightening the muscles between the perineum and the genitals. And for females, it's felt by tightening the genitals and imagining the cervix tightening. So, kind of like the Kegel exercises that your doctors tell you to do. So, that's the first, the Mula bandha. The second is the Uddiyana bandha. And when we're practicing vinyasa yoga, a lot of times you'll hear engage your Uddiyana bandha. So this is the one that we really focus on when we're practicing vinyasa yoga. So when we engage this bandha, we're engaging our core muscles. So imagine all the muscles of your torso wrapping around your spine. And this is a visual of how Uddiyana bandha works. So Uddiyana is a Sanskrit word that means to rise up. So when you engage this bandha, you're sending energy up the spine. So think of the energy that supports good posture in this case, okay? So you got a little bit of a lesson in Sanskrit. All right, so how do you activate the Uddiyana bandha? All right, so you're going to begin with your three-part belly breath. Remember, that's the foundational breath of everything we do in yoga. All breathing practices, whether it's Ujjayi breath, alternate nostril breathing, we're always going to start with that three-part belly breath. Imagine that your belly button is connected to the spine by a string. So each time you exhale, someone is behind you, an imaginary person pulling that string towards the spine. And as you exhale, visualize, oops, I just said that. So basically, the person behind you with a string. So at the same time, you're going to gently tilt the pelvis forward and slightly upward. And you're going to allow your ribs to protrude over your abdomen as if you are making your waist smaller. Um, so when I've been teaching you engagement for the core, I've told you to pull or push your low back as if you're pushing into an imaginary wall. And think about the pelvic tilt that you do sometimes in some exercises. So you're doing that all at the same time. Don't hold your breath. Continue with the three-part breath and repeat the steps each time. As you do that, visualize your diaphragm and abdominal muscles contracting and wrapping around the spine. We should have some quotation marks there. And like I said, imagine you're pushing the low back into an imaginary wall. I'm not sure what happened to those words, but like you're pushing it into a wall. I've offered a link to a video that I would like for you to practice in the lesson on the presentation in the virtual classroom this week, okay? So over time, you're going to want to engage Uddiyana bandha in everything that you do as you do your yoga practice, your asana practice, your breath work. So you're going to use it as you walk casually across campus. Over time, if you practice this, your posture will become better. And so there are many different postures you can practice this in: mountain pose, Tadasana, Sukhasana, easy seated pose. So any posture to begin is great, but particularly those. All right, the Jalandhara Bandha, it's known as the throat lock. It's located near the throat chakra. This particular bandha increases the ability to breathe efficiently, and it helps you to concentrate. And one posture that you can use for this to practice is shoulder stand. So notice how the chin is pressing down towards the chest. She's actually practicing Jalandhara Bandha right there. All right, and so when we do all of these three together, we've got the Mahabandha. And that takes time and practice. Right now, let's just focus on the Uddiyana Bandha. Maybe practice some Kegel exercises to engage Mula Bandha, do some shoulder stands to practice the throat lock. And these are your three bandhas. And remember, when they're all done together at the same time, you have Mahabandha.